This video is going to take us through the steps for 10-4, work together problem. You'll notice that there are 4 steps to this problem. It looks a lot bigger and more intimidating than it really is, so let's just take each step one at a time. So the first step, we are going to total and prove the cash receipts journal. So in 10-3, you learned how to journalize each transaction in the cash receipts journal, and now we are going to total, prove, and then post all of the proper things that we're supposed to post. So first thing, total and prove. Classic Appliances is the name of the company. We're in the month of September. In the cash receipts journal, we're going to calculate and record the column totals, enter 0 if there is nothing to add. So notice in the general debit and credit, there's nothing there, so we're going to add use 0. The last day of the month is the 30th here. We're going to write the word totals because there's more than one column. And we're just going to add each column together. So obviously these two are both 0. And we're just going to add straight down. Make sure you're very careful with the math because you now have a lot of dollars and cents to put in there. So go ahead and do it, and we'll come back and check your answers. All right, let's see how we did. So our accounts receivable credit is $40,89.15, sales credit $10,950.75, sales tax payable credit $618.74. Our sales discount is a debit of $51.60, and our cash is a debit of $15,607.04. So once we have those totals, then down here we want to prove the cash receipts journal. So just like we did with the sales journal, we want to make sure our debits equal our credits. And just by looking up here, it's very difficult to see. So here they've made a little proof for us. The debits are on our left, the credits are on the right, and all we're going to do is plug the numbers in. Because the general debit and credit are both 0, we're going to leave the general debit and credit blank. We're not going to put the 0 in. Accounts receivable credit, so we're looking at this column. Make sure you know that it is a credit, $40,89.15, plug it in. Sales is a credit right here, $10,950.75. Sales tax payable credit is this column, $618.74. And then the sales discount and the cash are both debits. So just make sure, and it's pretty easy to do because they don't let you put it in the wrong column, but those are both the debits. So now we're just going to add straight down and make sure our debits equal our credits. And if we did the math correctly, we should have $15,658.64 for both the debit and the credit. So $15,658.64. And that's just a good check to make sure we do everything before moving on. The next step that we're going to do is proving cash. So it gives us some information here and some of the other information we're going to get from our cash receipts journal. So the directions say on the September 1st balance of the cash account was $11,486.16. Credit postings to the cash account were $94.84.24. On September 30th, the balance on the next unused check stub was $17,608.96. So 3 of the numbers that we're going to plug in here are right here in our instructions. So we're just going to make sure we put them in the right spots. So the beginning balance, it says right here, cash on hand at the beginning of the month is this amount here, the $11,486.16. And then it says plus the total cash received during the month. Well, where are we going to get that? That's not given in the directions. But up here, cash debit is what we brought in. So cash received is this $15,607.04. So we're going to plug that in here, $15,607.74. And it says plus, so we have to add those two numbers together. So when we add those two numbers together, we get $27,093.20. And then less total cash paid during the month, and that says right here, credit postings to the cash account, that means what we paid out was $94.84, so $94.84.24. And because it says less right here, we're going to subtract. So it's 27,000 minus the 9,000 number, and we're going to get 17,608.96. And then it says checkbook balance on the next unused check stub. Right here in the directions again, we're going to plug that number in, 17,608.96. And lo and behold, this is what we want to see. These two bottom numbers must match in order to move on and know that we did everything correctly. Okay, now we're going to move on to step 2, post to the accounts receivable ledger. So here's the directions to post the transactions on the cash receipts journal to the accounts receivable ledgers. And there's nothing else we really need to know about that. So we're going to go line by line. So the first one we're going to open is Lenny Stanford. And remember, we're only looking at the accounts receivable credit column. We're ignoring everything else in this whole journal. So cash receipt journal page 9 is what we're looking at. So CR page 9, and we're only looking at this column for the accounts receivable. So down here for Lenny, we're going to put the date on the 3rd. We are going to put right here CR 9 for cash receipts page 9. And we're going to put this as a credit of $21.89. So $21.89.36, and because we have a credit entry and a debit balance, we must subtract to get the new balance. So that becomes $16.96. Nice even amount there. So remember, opposites subtract. So basically what this means, Lenny Stanford owed us $38.85.36, but he paid us this amount, so now his new balance is right here, $16.96. Take the 110 and plug it in to show that you posted it. Remember what we said previously, that if it's a check mark in the entry for the account title, then there's going to be a check mark in the post reference to show that you're not going to post it. So right here, we're just going to put a check mark because we're not going to post it. So the next one we're going to open up is Venice Cafe. And it's the 8th, CR number 9. And for Venice Cafe, we have $390.34, $390.34. Credit entry, debit balance, so we must subtract to get the new balance that Venice Cafe will owe us. And that comes out to $2713.60. And put the 120 to show that you posted it. Next one is another check mark, so that's easy, drop down. And then Washington City Schools is the last one, so we put the 28th, CR9. It's a credit of $1509.45. Their previous balance was this $4,000 amount, so we're going to subtract to get their new balance of what they still owe us. And that comes out to $25.29. So $25.29, and now put the 130 to show that we posted it. And that is the steps for part 2. Now we're going to move on to part 3. Part 3 is posting to the general ledger. So this is just essentially posting the totals of the accounts receivable journal. So these have zeros, so we're going to put the check marks here like we have in the past. And now we're going to post each of these column totals. So the first one is accounts receivable. It is a credit, and we're looking at this totals that we've already added them up. So we're looking at this $40.89.15 for accounts receivable. So we're going to go to the accounts receivable. We're going to put the last day of the month. We are still on CR9. And this is a credit here, so we're going to put it in the credit column, $40.89.15. We have a credit entry and a debit balance, which means we must subtract. So you're going to subtract that amount, and you're left with $69.38.60. And just like we did the accounts payable, when we said that this balance is going to be important, this is going to be an important number here when we do our last step, which is our accounts receivable schedule. This represents the total amount that every customer that we have owes us. So $69.38.60 will be an important number to remember. This $11.30 then goes underneath to show you posted that column. So we're going to go ahead and do each of these steps. So the next one is going to be sales as a credit. So we're going to open up sales. We're going to do each of these just like we have been doing all along. So this is $10,950.75. Credit entry, credit balance. So in this case, we must add. And we're going to get $202,8 36.06, and then take that 4110 and plug it in to show you posted that column. Okay, I went ahead and filled in all the amounts that we need to do, so we'll just double check. Once you're done posting, you should have all the account numbers underneath. So our sales credit, once we put that entry in for our total, our new balance 202,836.06, account number 4110 is plugged in. Sales tax, we had $618.74 as a credit added on to the previous balance, so we should have $33.52.52, and $21.20 is plugged in underneath. Our sales discount is a debit, so we have $51.60 as our debit, and now we have added that onto the debit balance, so $772.66, plug the $41.20 underneath. And last but not least, the cash we brought in as a debit, $15,607.04, and we added on to the previous balance. We now have $17,608.96 in our account at the end of September, and we put that account number here to show that we posted that. Last but not least, our accounts receivable schedule. This is a pretty easy step. We're just adding together all the people that owe us money and how much they owe us. So we're opening up each of these ledgers and we're putting in the final balance into the schedule of accounts receivable down below. So Lenny Stanford, look down at the bottom, 1696. Venice Cafe is 2713.60, and Washington Schools right here, 2529. We're going to add those three numbers together, and we get what we talked about before in the accounts receivable ledger of 6938.60 should be our total amount that all of our vendors, or all of our customers, I should say, owe us for the month at the end of September. And that completes our 10-4 work together. I know it's 4 steps. I know it seems like a lot, but it's pretty easy, a little tedious, I know. So just take it slow, make sure your debits and credits are balancing, and you're really careful with these cents so to make sure that you're not leaving anything out or transposing a number. So go ahead and finish this 10-4 work together and move on to the on your own problem.